All right, everyone, we're ready to look for the first time and get our hands on the PS5 in this episode of tech-Nic. That is actually really heavy. Almost dislocated my arm. All right, so we've looked at the Xbox. We've been playing it for a few weeks. We're enjoying it, and we've struggled, like most of you, to get our hands on one of these. But thanks to good old Nate, we have been set square today. So we are going to get our first look hands-on at the PS5. We're probably going to set them side by side too later in the video to give you an idea of what we're looking at size-wise. Obviously 4K gaming with support up to 8K. It'll handle all of your Blu-ray playback and 4K playback. You can also stream high-def content from Netflix or any of the services of your choosing. Gameplay is really what we're talking about here. And let's be honest, design. These systems are pretty comparable between the Xbox and the PS5. So it's really what you like more. A lot of you are going to have both anyway when you can get a hold of the systems. So early on, it might be which one are you wanting to get your hands on first. For me, it just kind of depends. If I tend to, like if I'm playing Fallout or if I'm playing Oblivion, I tend to shift towards the PlayStation. There's nothing wrong with playing them on Xbox. For some reason, I just prefer them over there. And you know what? Maybe it's with them being comparable machines, unless you got exclusives you're wanting to look at. Maybe the design is what you go for. Hardware-wise, these should be pretty comparable. And what we want to look at today is a first look at the design and get it out of the box. So let's do it. Pull out the trusty knife here and see if I can do this without messing up. Goodness gracious. There we go. Obviously, I never... Wow. So, excuse me. Oh, okay. Well, that's a whole box of accessories. And let's see if we can do this without dropping this thing on the ground. Okay. Normally, I would leave that up. That's a big box. Let's go ahead and show you what you came for. Let's give you the money shot. Ooh. Wow. Wow. So, early comments I read on the design from some people was that this looked like my Trapper Keeper from the 6th grade. I kind of think it does, actually. But I will say, it's heavy. It's heavy. Maybe that's to be expected here, right? We've got to look here. I'm like a one of those machines that turns the cars real slow, or a rotisserie chicken. You know, like it's a spaceship flying through. It's the black satellite flying through Earth orbit. John's back there signaling me to do more flips and turns. That's it. That's all you get. So, USB, 2 of those ports on the back, wired Ethernet port, HDMI, and power. And on the other side of our Trapper Keeper, we have an eject button, power, USB-C, and another USB port, and the disk drive, obviously. Now, like we saw with the Xbox, there are 2 models of this right now, disc and diskless. Sounds weird. But, obviously, my money is on the disc system. I'm a big believer in digital, or having hard media instead of just digital media. Not trying to jinx the whole thing, but I have seen cases. We actually just read something the other day about Sony talking about who owns digital content movies. So, anyway, hard copies, I'm always a fan. I guess I'm old school in that. So, in this box here, we've got the stand. Let's just pull all this out. Obviously, instructions. You know we don't do anything with those. Who even cares? So in the box, controller, power, HDMI, and the stand, which will allow us to have the system up like we are already doing, but it be more stable. The base rotates, it swings around, and then once it did, it exposed this little trap door here, like we're in the Winchester mansion trying to find a secret room, and pulls out this little bolt. This goes through the bottom here, and this will allow you to, this is how you do the vertical stand. There's also If you see here, let's go upside down. There is a little plug that you have to remove. This is probably how you want to install this. Just FYI, is upside down. Flathead screwdriver, which would be nice to have. So a little different than Microsoft's solution for the base. Once that goes on, it is secured here. The two little hooks go over the back here. And with that, we now have a stabilized system so that this won't get knocked over easily. Now it can still get knocked over, let's be honest. One of the things I've always seen is people come in and the systems are overheated, they're junked up, they're damaged, and one of the main things that happens is they take these and they shove it inside of a TV cabinet. This thing needs airflow. This needs to be out on the top of the cabinet so it has no restriction for airflow whatsoever. The other thing is pet hair. If you have pets in the house, the last place you want to put this is inside of a cabinet. Dog hair, cat hair drifts inside those places that you can't get back to clean. These fans are powerful. They're trying to cool these things. Sucks it right in. That is the absolute worst. Followed third by the systems get knocked over and dinged. If the TV center, if the TV stand where you're putting this is not level and it wobbles while you walk through that room, vertical is not for you. Lay it down horizontal, okay? If there's any movement of where the stand is, don't do it. There is what it looks like on the stand. I honestly think both of these systems look the best standing vertical. And we're finally to the controller. So, right off the bat, I don't like the feel of this as much as I like the Xbox out of the box. The Xbox controller out of the box was a bit borderline orgasmic. Can I say that? Borderline.
I'd rather you didn't.
Most people would probably rather not hear me say that word. But it was an enjoyable experience immediately. This feels a little bit different to me. I'm still okay with it, just not as much. It's a little clickier. I do not like these. These feel almost like they're getting stuck when I'm depressing them. I think they changed the depth, like the draw of the controller as well. It feels like it just doesn't sit in my hand as well. I don't know. This thing looks good. Looks really nice. If you're going for artistic, okay, all right. But Microsoft kind of feels like they're making more sense out of it. Speaking of which, now that we got it here, let's see. That is a difference. Now, you know what? Wow, I will tell you, the Xbox is heavier. It's in what? 70% of the size here, maybe 80. So it's probably worth mentioning. Brand new system, not a lot of games out yet. Sony's done the same thing Microsoft has, and there's a lot of games from their previous consoles available to play on the PS5. This one came installed with Astro's Playroom, so there is something on there, but with the compatibility of games from the previous systems, you're going to be able, if you're a PlayStation Network user, to have enough to play when you're waiting for titles to release. So there's kind of your size difference, what you're looking at. There's the design of the PS5, and that's what it's going to look like. You need enough space around your TV for, I don't know, a toddler, a one-year-old. That's a bad example. Now we can start using this and playing with it and seeing what we think. So we're discussing the size and kind of the volume of these systems. And really, what you're looking at here is just two wildly different takes on systems that are about really the same size if you kind of mix it up. This one's shorter and bulkier. This one's more elongated and a little bit taller. But you're still using about the same volume. It's just how you prefer, what fits the space better. I mean, obviously, if you go horizontally, the PS5 is going to fit under most devices much easier than the Xbox is. If you're going vertical, well, then you see the difference that you're working with. But controller-wise, not huge updates between the two, but some sharp-looking entries. Now, you know, processing on paper, processing-wise to me, the Xbox looks like it has the leg up over the PS5. Taking it actually into performance mode and playing and actually seeing how games render on it is where that really is where the rubber hits the road, right? But on paper, I think it looks stronger here than it's here. One thing I think is obvious to me as I look at these is the cooling ability or potential cooling ability of this versus this. I just think the PS5 is going to have a hard time moving air through this system fast enough. I mean, it kind of is pulling from the back, it looks like, and coming out of the top. And as cool of a design as that is, this thing here, I can tell you with almost a month of use, has not had a single issue with getting hot. It is not in a cabinet, but it does have a shelf above it about this far, and it's having no issue moving air at all. Also, no dust buildup. It's just open. It feels like it's going to be able to move air really well. This is going to be interesting to see how that does as we get to play with this a little bit. But out of the box, this is a wildly different take on a console. I think it looks really good, and it's just two different worlds here. It's really up to you to pick. So that's the first thoughts of the PS5, first time hands-on. We'll have more videos with more content, obviously, as we go. We want to thank you guys for watching, and if you're first time here to the channel, make sure you go subscribe and hit the bell icon so you can be notified of when new videos drop. We are in the middle of a giveaway right now for this brand new channel, hitting 500 subscribers and giving away $500 in cold hard cash. So send it to anyone you know and help us get there. Thank you for watching. We'll catch you next time.